Hi. I just wanted to do this one on depression. Uh, One of the other mental health issues I struggle with. It's weird how they vary from time to time. I did a video before about OCD. That was the one that was kind of took over my life in the late 2000s, and it was affecting me really bad. And then depression set in. I think I've always had depression. I remember when I was a teenager of not leaving in the summertime, not leaving my room for days because I just didn't feel like going out, which was unusual for me because I was a very active. Yeah, I'm a big guy, but I was a big kid. But I did go out and play kickball. I played basketball with people. Rode bikes. Just went to each other's houses and played until dark and then come home. Back then, that's what you did. There was no social media or anything. If you wanted to go see friends or see somebody, you go outside and find somebody. Find a friend somewhere. I had a few friends that I had around where I lived at. It was kind of a small community. It was outside of Carroll, Illinois. There was not a lot of kids, but there was at the time some kids I had made friends with. So I would visit them, and we'd have. I had the home we had. Uh, my dad had bought the field uh, in front of our house because he used to like to watch the traffic go by on the highway. So as time went by, the weeds got higher and higher, and the person who ever owned it didn't cut it. So my father went and found out who owned the land and uh, cleaned out the weeds, mowed it, everything else. So we owned that too. So we play kickball, and I had a basketball hoop set up. We played basketball. Um, we have all kinds of games we played as a kid, and it was so yeah. I very active, and I was always wondering why I was had a weight problem, and my mom did too. Even though I was like in the summertime, I'd leave, get up 7:30 in the morning, and I would go out and play and come back. When the street lights came on, which is what we did back then. And so anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole, but the thoughts on depression. I guess that was the first time I felt it. I just had a week where I just did not feel like going out. I was down. I was thinking I had no friends. I was worried about things that was going to happen. That's when my anxiety started coming in. But uh, I just did not want to leave. I wanted just to stay in my room, and like I said, I read comic books, so I would read comic books and not go out, and which was not much like me. My mom even kind of noticed it. It's like, and some of my friends said, "We don't see you. Where you've been for the last week?" And I was like, "I was in my room when I finally did start going out." But I can't really foresay since it's been so long what caused the depression. Something happened. I can't remember what, but it hit me pretty hard, and I just got really depressed about it. Um, and like I said, I just did not want to function. I did not want to go out and see friends. I did not want to play kickball. I did not want to ride bikes. I didn't want to do anything. I just want to be in my room, and I was that way for maybe a week or more before I finally, I guess, got out of my glump and started going back out again. But that was my first bout with depression. But back in that period of time, this was in the early '80s, late '70s. Mental health wasn't a big thing. People had mental health problems, but you never thought, you had one. Didn't know you had depression. My mom was the kind of person that you only went to the doctor if you had to. Um, so she didn't take me to a therapist or a counselor. Uh, when I got hit by depression, I didn't even know it was depression. I just know I just had no fun in life anymore. And it lasted about a week or so, and then it cleared up. Um, as I got older, uh, started making decisions, and then I think when it finally hit me the worst is when my mom passed. Um, that was back in 1994. I was a walking zombie. I went to work. I did my job. Uh, I just felt like I said, like a zombie. I just did the motions. Um, I went to work every day. Didn't miss a day. But if like I wasn't there, it was like it wasn't me. Yeah, I was doing the job and going on. I when my nephew was little at that time, I'd watch him on the weekends. We used to always enjoy going to the video store and renting games and coming home and playing them and stuff like that. I just I went with him, picked out the games and all that, played games with him. But like I said, I just didn't feel like it was me. I was so depressed for a long time. My mom was my rock. Uh, being the youngest child ever, she was 39, almost 40 when she had me. So like I said, all my siblings were a lot older, and most of them had already moved out. They were gone. My one sister would come back and live with us for a while, and then take off again. She was very flighty, and so for the most part, it was just me and my mom, and she was my rock. I mean, uh, she was there, she would tell me to, get off your butt, go do something, um, that kind of thing, and she'd always say, one day I won't be here, and I always say, Mom, don't say that, I don't, I didn't want to hear it because I was already in my teens. It's like you don't want to hear about losing your mom, and because I already lost my father. I didn't really have a father because he was like I think I mentioned in the other video, he's an alcoholic, so he was, most of the time gone to bars. I didn't really spend much time with him until um, he stopped drinking, but by then it was too late, and so I didn't really know my father too much. From here and there, we did things, but not very often. But my mom, we would, we'd go places, shopping and all that. So losing her was a major hit to me. And I think that's when my depression really came to the forefront. And like I said, I was a walking zombie for weeks. I even went to counseling. I had a very horrible counselor. I don't even know how he became a counselor. His recommendation, lose weight, get a woman. Yeah, that's not what I was wanting to hear. I just lost my mother. I'm grieving. That that's stupid advice. I mean, yeah, it might have been his advice, but is that how I kept thinking? Is that how you deal with grieving people who lost a loved one? Oh yeah, go get you a woman. So anyway, that was such a letdown. I didn't go back to therapy after that. I was like, why bother? Um, is this how therapists treat their people who are in depression and dealing with grief? And I don't have nothing to do with them. So I was that way for, like I said, several weeks. I finally started getting out of the thump, but it would hit me more and more here and there because I just felt something was missing in my life, um, that I could have done more, and I should have done more when I was younger. And so I dealt with depression here and there where it would raise up, um, and it would cause me to just not want to go anywhere. That's how my depression works. I think everybody has a different thing. Some people, they just sit and cry. Um, I've read that, and I had, people that like like I was doing when my mom passed, go through life and like a walking zombie. Um, Mine started getting to a point where I just, when it hit, I just didn't want to go anywhere. My place where I lived was my safe space, and I think it hurt a lot of my uh, aspirations, because I always felt I was not fit to do things, that I was a loser, that I was no good, I couldn't do it. In looking back now, it was depression talking. It was, and it's still, it's like a voice in your head sometimes that just says, out of the blue, that, oh boy, you really screwed the pooch. Yeah, you're done. Uh, and then that's when you go into the funk, and you don't want to leave your home because you're just like, I, it's a constant battle with your brain telling you that you're a loser, that you're no good, you can't learn anything. Um, you screwed up your life. You know you're the worst person in the world. You know, and it just, like I said, it's just a voice in your head that's telling you this constantly. Um, Now, I know depression has kind of took a little bit of a back seat to the anxiety, which I'm going to make a video on that. Um, there have been times when, and I'm big enough as a guy to say that depression did cause me to break down and weep, because of the loss lost my mom. Even years later, even now it still affects me at times, um, when I think about it. And I thought, especially when I go out and I see other people. Oh, my mom's calling, or I'm going to my dad's, and you realize you don't have nobody to go to, nobody to lean on. They're gone. Um, and so that's when depression set in. Um, One of my neighbors was talking about her sister and all that, and I started getting depressed today that I don't have the family, and I was like, you know what kind of mess was I born in? Why was I born to go through this? But there's no answer. I mean, you get told it, it's God's plan. God's got a plan for you, but I sometimes wonder what kind of plan does He have for me, because it's been pretty shitty. Maybe there's a reason down the road, possibly. Uh, but when you deal with it, when you have the depression, like I said, it is basically telling you constantly that you made the wrong decision. You screwed up. Um, Now you're done for. Um, you have nobody. You should have done this differently. You should have done that differently. And sometimes, like I said, it doesn't come up to you, and like what I'm. It's basically you'll be fine one day. You'll be okay, and then all of a sudden it strikes you like a bolt of lightning, and you start thinking ruminations and the regrets and what have you done wrong and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people say you just got to move on. You got to say, you know, what's done is done. You done it, move on with it. Take advantage that you made this choice and do it. But like I said, when you have depression, you think that, oh, I'm the wrong choice, because you don't have that kind of a support network to turn to say, hey, is this a good decision or is this a bad decision? And and sometimes then you wonder, well, did they tell me the right decision or did they tell me the wrong decision? Uh, should I have listened to someone else, or should I, one person gives me this advice, this person gives me that advice, and I take the one advice, and then I wonder, and I start getting depressed that I should have took the other advice. And that's when it starts leading into the general anxiety disorder, which would be the next video, uh, talking about it. Um, it does seem with me on my mental health issues, they kind of go into importance as far as who gets comes to the forefront. Uh, my OCD, like I said, was a major player in my life. It was causing me all kinds of issues. I still have it, but not as bad. Then the depression set in again, and it took its front seat where I just didn't want to leave my apartment. I missed a lot of work. It took a lot of FMLA days because it was horrible. And there was also the fact that I got retaliated against. I work for the government, but I got retaliated against for taking an FMLA day, which is illegal. Uh, Unfortunately, our union was not able to help me because at the time, union activity was uh, to a point where they could only do it on their off days, like when they're home. So they couldn't do it on the job. So most of them were, you have lives when you get out of work. So trying to do that in union business is hard. So what happened was, I had it was the anniversary of my mother's death, and of course that shot off the depression. And I called in on a Monday because I just was lost, and I just didn't want to leave. And so apparently others called off as well, which I had no idea, and they were short-handed. So what basically they did a retaliation against the people who called in and took away their time, their tour duty, and moved me and some others to a different tour duty, um, which, according to the master agreement through the union, they can't do. But they did it anyway. They lied and said they had permission, which that was, not. The union said we never gave them any permission to do that. And I had to go to the hearing for the EEOC by myself. So of course my mental health is not that great, and I broke down. So I was in no position to defend myself. So it did not go well. I should have had a union rep there, but didn't. I emailed them and asked them and couldn't get anybody. And so that made my depression even worse, especially when you break down in front of people. It's horrible because that's your mental state. And a lot of people talk, oh, we understand about mental health. No, they don't. It's all talk. They don't know anything about it. They just know, oh, yeah, it's mental health day. Oh, we understand, depression, and no, they don't. They have no idea unless they go through it. They have no idea whatsoever what it's like. But here I'm getting on a rant. But it is a real issue. It's a horrible issue, uh, and it affects a lot of people. And that's just some of the ways it affected me. I know some more. Everybody goes through it differently. It has different problems trying to deal with it. So I know I'm not alone with it. I know there's other people out there that suffer from it, but it's kind of taken a little bit more of a back seat now to my anxiety disorder, which I'll get to that in another video and go over it a bit. But um, depression stinks. It is a major problem. Uh, it can cause you to, you know, take time off, and people don't understand. They think you're just, you know, taking time off because you're lazy. Um, they don't know what you're doing and how you're suffering. So that's my. I'm not going to go into a big thing about depression. I just want to give some feedback on what it's like for me. Everybody, like I said, everybody's different. But thank you for watching the video. If you do, um, if you do suffer from depression, my best wishes for you. I know it's hard. So thank you again for watching. If you make comments, thank you, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Um, just have a great night and try to enjoy the rest of the week. I'm going to hopefully make my big anxiety video, which explains a bit about more about how the anxiety is affecting me. Which that's gonna be a long, drawn out process. But anyway, thank you again for watching, for commenting, and the nice comments. Thank you. Bad comments. You commented. Thank you. Anyway, but have a great day, and thanks again for watching.